This is Women in Music with Gfire Podcast, episode number 32 with singer-songwriter Anna Larson. Is it Anna or Anna?
It's Anna.
Anna. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And, well,
thanks for having me on, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
A pleasure. You know, normally I start with some other stuff, but I was just so impressed that you did that video.
Thank you. I'd never done one before to that degree, something that long, one song at a time was my speed up until this. And it was just,
It's super impressive.
I just went for it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, how long did it take? A couple of years or a couple of months?
No. Let's see. I think the video portion of it all, because I was kind of working on, it was like a multifaceted project, right? So I had recorded the album here at home. So all of the sound stuff, I tracked myself at home, with the exception of the drums. My drummer flew those tracks in, and then I had all this other found sound elements that went into the audio. So I was culling various sources for that and mixing that in, and then also creating the video too. And it was all kind of happening at the same time. But I would say that just the video part, probably 2 months, maybe a month or two.
Are you good at that sort of thing, at video?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not something that I ever have done for anyone else but myself. In the bands that I'm in, I'm the person who makes the videos, and I've always made all of my own videos. But I really enjoy it. It's one of those skills, one of those things that you kind of discover. Like when you're a independent artist, you have to do everything yourself, and some of the things feel like have to do's, right. And then some of the things you discover, ooh, I actually want to do this. So I think video is one of those things that I didn't know that I had a knack for it or that I enjoyed doing it until I did it, and then I was kind of hooked. I think that it satisfies the part of me that enjoyed working in live theater. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes along with that way that my brain works in terms of visualizing things. And I'm not a visual artist in the sense of, being able to take a blank canvas and paint or whatever medium and make something from that. But it sort of feels like collage to me when I'm making videos.
And where do you find the footage for the videos?
Well, so going back to the sound part of it, the sort of, non-musical sounds, back when I was doing a lot of theater, live theater, I would always do the sound design. And so to do that, you're like, okay, I need a sound of a door slamming or whatever it was if you weren't doing it live in the theater. Mm-hmm. So there are sort of repositories online where people, field recordings of whatever it is, the sound that you want, right? So from that direction of just like audio things, I have also discovered that there are video repositories of public domain stuff. And I think I kind of got into that world. I'm not sure how many years ago it was, but someone shared with me, what is it? It's a group called Pond 5. Mm-hmm. And they have a project called the Public Domain Project. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it's audio, but also a lot of it's video. And it changes. I think what they put in the collection for the public to see changes. But there's tons of really, really old, back to some of the very first video footage that would even exist way back to the beginning of the 20th century. Little snippets of all kinds of stuff. And I found it so fascinating because some of this video is almost 100 or over 100 years old. Right. And it's just people, a lot of it is just people doing normal stuff.
Right, because it's so old, though, it's still
Yeah.
fascinating. Not
It's fascinating to see just regular people that have been long gone for years just doing normal stuff, just walking down the street, just, to me it's just fascinating to have this I don't know, I feel connected with some of the people I see in those images because they're, you know what I mean, they're living
right.
and
They're
I don't
doing
know.
what we would have done if we lived
Yeah.
back then. So
Yeah, yeah, and even it just seems similar to how I think some of the footage that I've really enjoyed, and I think some of it's in this film too. People having picnics or people just sort of hanging out, enjoying themselves, kids playing, and it's so different on one hand, but at the same time, it's so recognizable.
right.
And there's just something to me. I mean, I think musicians and artists of any kind, we're trying to connect with people and we're trying to make sense of our connection with the world and our connection or lack of connection or what weird connections with people. And I think that's why I like that sort of thing. It's just another connection, figuring out my connection to all the people that have come before me and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I could I mean obviously I made a half-hour film, so I really went down the rabbit hole for
You definitely
looking
did.
for all these things.
Let's let's just kind of let our listeners know how many songs are
Yeah.
on your film.
There are seven songs. Cocoon is the title of it.
Of the
So it's
entire piece.
of the entire piece, yes.
Right.
And there's seven original songs, and it's about a half hour's worth of music. And so the film is, choreographed with that audio, and so it's about a half hour, a little bit less film. Yeah.
And what's the best way for our listeners to find that?
The best way to find the visual, to see the whole thing.
That's what I did. I just, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to watch this and see if this is somebody I want to interview. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that's the best way to experience it is to watch that film. And I would go to YouTube.
You could just do a search on YouTube.
Yeah,
for,
Anna Larson music. And
just
my
look under Anna Larson music, not Anna
Yeah.
Larson Cocoon.
Yeah, that works also.
Okay.
The Anna Larson music will get people connected to my YouTube channel, and the main video on the YouTube channel, like the highlighted video, will take you to this film. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so different from a lot of what other artists are doing. And that's why I was so, okay, this is very unique.
Thanks. I mean, I felt that during this pandemic period, if there was ever gonna be a moment just to follow your own creative impulse, I was like, this is it. This is the time. If I'm gonna make a short film, this is the time to go for it because, as much as I love playing live and that whole side of things, when you're playing out a lot and you're in motion and you're going and you're organized, you're doing all the things, you don't have the same kind of rhythm where you can just be and give your focus to something. I think it's that way, with writing. Sometimes you have to alternate. Okay, I'm in a writing phase versus I'm in a performing phase, and sometimes it's a little too much to have them all in a blender going at the same time.
Exactly.
But I think that sort of solitude and forced change of pace helped bring this out. That's really why I feel like the project feels like a time capsule to me.
For this whole
Period, and what I was trying to capture in it was sort of looking at the world from the perspective of being in my little corner of the world and having everything filtered through that. So I think will I ever do something like this again? Who knows?
You don't have to.
But this was for sure a project both the songs and the audio, all of the audio elements and all of the visuals that really grew out of this time and place, Yeah.
Well, now I'll go back to my regular questions, but I just, it was just so unusual because most people, they send me a video or they send me a couple songs, or one girl sent me her CD in the mail of all things, it still happens.
Oh yeah, I've still got CDs. I've got them.
I mean, what else are we? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
print some vinyl, but as I ask everybody, I mean, it's expensive and hard to ship. There's a lot of pros and cons, but
Yeah.
let's get back to the beginning. Where are you from
Sure.
originally?
I am from Dallas, Texas. I am a native Texan. I didn't go very far, but that's okay.
That's okay. I think there's
Austin's a very different place than Dallas, so in some ways, it is a big distance. No, I grew up in the south part of Dallas, native Texan. My whole family is, I guess my whole family are a bunch of native Texans as well. So we've been here, got some Texas roots for a long time. Yeah.
nice. And what drew you into being a singer-songwriter?
Ooh, I haven't been a singer-songwriter as my main artistic mode, I guess you might say, for my entire life. I'm not one of those people that was writing songs on a guitar in my bedroom when I was 12 years old or something like that. But I'm a lifelong musician. I started playing piano when I was about 5 years old, 4 or 5, I don't know, somewhere in there. And so I always sang in church, right? Because I grew up in church, and then I always was playing piano, not in church. Like those were like singing and piano were two different things.
Okay.
Always for me. And I was always writing too. I was always writing poetry. I mean, short stories, like all of that was always a part of my personality from, just really, really young age. But they were all separate categories. And I spent a lot of time as a classical pianist, studying to be a classical pianist. And I did not bring all the things together until my mid-30s. I think I was about around that time. I started I mentioned earlier, I've done a lot of live theater. And so I was writing plays with my theater company, like a collaborative sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, hey, I think I'm going to write some music, some incidental music to go with this play that I'm also writing. And everyone was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Go for it. And so when I did that and brought some people that I knew in together, and it was still just instrumental music, but I brought all those things together, and I was, playing the music live with the play and writing. And I was like, wow, I need to write, because I hadn't been writing my own music really before that. I'd, perform stuff, but it wasn't my own. And that experience of starting to write my own stuff, just like the catalyst. And right after that, I think I joined a band. And
which band?
My band, the Wheelwrights. It happens to be one of my neighbors that lives down the street. I found out that he was putting together a band, and I was like, hey, do you need a keyboard player? And he was like, cool, can you sing harmony vocals? And I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know. I hadn't sung harmony vocals before, but I said yes, I can. Mm-hmm. And we just started. I originally came into the group not as a songwriter, mm-hmm. and just within a really short period of time, we were all writing together. And then I was, singing a lot more, and I just decided to say yes to all those things and just see where it took me. And it just felt like all the doors were opening in the right directions.
How nice.
So, yeah, I just think that you have to stay open to whatever creative path presents itself. And I think you kind of know when you're in the right place. And I think the kind of music, the more just being strictly a instrumental, strictly classical sort of thing, never really, it felt like not the right fit
You didn't
before
really
that.
want to be a concert pianist.
Not really.
Yeah,
I
me
just think
neither.
that I was searching for the right way to bring things together. So maybe I'm a late bloomer, but you
Nothing wrong
know,
with that. We
yeah,
bloom
it's
when
so
we
far
bloom.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. Is the band still together?
We are, but you know, like a lot of things with the pandemic, it's just sort of it's taking a while to get things back
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, getting things moving again. And I think a lot of us maybe sort of expected like, okay, there's going to be a light switch moment where we're going to be bing, and now we're all back and rehearsing and that, and it's slow going right now. Yeah, but
Yeah, I
um,
mean, I tend to be cautious. I want a lot
mm-hmm,
higher percentage of people vaccinated before I
mm-hmm,
start,
yeah,
you know, even thinking about playing out really.
yeah.
But I'm really
I've been doing
cautious.
a little. I've been doing. I sort of so I have the wheelwrights, which I'm a part of, and
Hmm.
we're all sort of co-writing in that group. And then, as you know, as myself, Anna Larson, I mean, I've been playing solo a lot, but I also have a band who is on all of my songs that have come out recently, as well as my the album before Cocoon, which was more of a, you know, a studio album. So I'm kind of, you know, I have it's good to have different groups of people to work and play with. So but sort of bringing all of that back online is where I'm at right now. Yeah, for sure.
Where have you been playing out?
I just, you know, just like a baby sticking my little toe out in the water. I have played at a couple breweries. I've played at Rough House Brewing, which is in San Marcos. I had the great fortune of playing a Black Fret event, but it was like live and virtual. So I was performing live from a location that was not my house, but it was still being live streamed out, you know. So it was a
Okay.
little bit of both. It was a little bit of both. And I have gotten rained out from my very favorite venue. One of my favorite venues, Vista Brewing, is a great place to play, and I really like the folks that work there. But I have gotten rained out twice now,
Oh my
so
goodness. So all these shows are either outdoors
outdoors, yes,
or live stream from
yeah,
somebody's studio.
yeah. I have a few things. I do have a couple things coming up later in the summer, but I'm taking it slow. I'm sort of, you know, every few weeks I have a little something that I'll be playing. I'm playing at Geraldine's on July 7th, and I
Okay.
think that that's sort of my first indoor show that I've played, and that I will have played in a long time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That sounds pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have any career highlights you want to talk about?
Um, for sure. I would say that one was getting to play on stage at the Woody Guthrie Folk Festival a couple years ago in 2019. I took part in their songwriting competition that they have,
Hmm.
and ended up placing second in their songwriting competition, and so got to go up to Oklahoma to play Okima. I feel like I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time, but it's one of those two things. Okima,
Right.
Oklahoma, and got to play a short set as part of the festival, and which was super cool. And everybody up there was so gracious and wonderful, and so many great songwriters. Where I was like, oh wow, it's, you know, that person and that person. And I think the highlight of that night was at the end of the evening, at the end of like the show for the evening, everybody got up on stage and sang "This Land Is Your Land," and it was like all of the people that had performed in the festival, and Woody Guthrie's grandchildren, like all of his extended family who were still very much performing and part of the festival, and just being up on the stage with that huge group of people singing "This Land Is Your Land"
Right.
with the audience singing along. I was
Uh-huh.
like, okay, that's it. I can go out on top now. That was huge. And then the other thing that I felt really grateful for I had one of my songs included on NPR's All Songs Considered.
Oh, nice.
I met Bob Boylan at the CD Baby DIY music conference, and got to share one of my songs, "Acting Alone," with him. And he was really moved by the song. It's a song that I wrote, and I used it as a way to raise money for Moms Demand Action, to highlight gun safety, and all of those, changing gun laws in our country. And he was really moved by the song that I shared with him, and he included it in All Songs Considered. And that was pretty surreal to hear, NPR, hearing my name, hearing them say, talk about my song, and then the playlist, being in between. I think I was in between Brittany Howard and Big Thief, and so I was like, oh, okay. That was really special. Yeah,
It sounds really special.
Yeah.
That's a great couple of credits to have Woody Guthrie and All Songs Considered.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
pretty,
For
pretty
sure.
high up on the aspirational
I know.
field.
Yeah, I'm pretty. If nothing else, those two things will stay with me forever, and it just brings me a lot of joy and happiness.
Well, let's talk about the song that you brought in today. It's called
I believe it is
Won't Let You Down?
Won't Let You Down. Yes.
Okay.
We've been talking so much about Cocoon. I was thinking, I was in that place in my head. Won't Let You Down is a single that I have coming out on June 25th. And this is this is my band, my usual band that I'm fortunate to play with. We recorded these songs before the pandemic.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of folks that had albums in the works or things in process, and we had gone into the studio and recorded a handful of songs before the pandemic. And I've just been pushing through. I didn't want to wait to see what happens and wait for the right time. You could wait for the right time to release songs and, all these things. I like to get music out there into the world and share it with people and let it do what it's going to do. So I didn't want to let the pandemic stop some of this music coming out. So yeah, Won't Let You Down is a song that I wrote. When you are pursuing cool things, pursuing artistic dreams, there are a lot of trade-offs in your life. There's a lot of times when you're gone and you'd rather be at home maybe. I have a family.
Okay, you've got husband, kids, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I've got a husband and I've got 3 children. And they are super supportive of me, and they just sort of hold me up and let me go do my thing, and I wrote this song sort of with them in mind, and maybe even from their perspective of, sometimes you wonder, maybe it's just a mom thing, like guilt, a little bit of mom guilt. I don't want to let them down.
Right.
But I think that I sort of wrote this song from the perspective of them saying, like, it's okay, we got you. We're not gonna let you down. You can go chase your dreams, and it's all right. Everything's gonna be okay.
Let's listen to the song.
Yeah.
Hey, it's way past your bedtime. You know how cruel that. Will you wonder where she's been? 'cause you're not gonna drown, 'cause we won't let you down. I've wanted you near to me for so long. Hey, you're meant for gold. Yeah, your satellites show high across the sky. You down. You start feeling like you're gonna drown. You're not gonna drown. Well, we won't let you down. You're not gonna drown. Well, we won't let you down. Hey, it's way past your bedtime. Oh, it's way past your bedtime. Well, it's way past your bedtime.
Oh, wow. Now, there's a line in there about something you can go to sleep or something like that.
Past your bedtime?
Yeah, that one. Is that two kids?
No, so it's funny because my guitar player, he always thought that it was like a lullaby that I'd written for my kids.
Right.
And really what it is, it's a lot of times I'll come home from things. Now, maybe not in a while because the aforementioned pandemic situation, but
Right.
before that, there's a lot of times that I'll come home and I'm the last, everybody else has gone to bed. I'm the last one up and it's past my bedtime. That's whose bedtime it's past in the song.
Interesting.
And it's sort of like that line in my mind, as I was writing it, I always have a very sort of character driven way of thinking about lines and music. And really that was sort of the perspective of probably my husband sort of thinking like, hey, Anna, it's way past your bedtime. Maybe you ought to calm down a little bit and try to come to bed and get some sleep. But you probably know this if you've played a really great show and you've got that buzziness and you should probably go to sleep, but your brain's not ready to go to sleep and you're thinking about all the things, and not in a negative way necessarily, like in a positive
but you're just
way.
Charged up.
Yeah. And that's what that line is really all about, is that feeling when you're like, man, it's what time is it? And I've got to get up at what time tomorrow? But you're still on that energy, on that high from performing, and you're still thinking about all the great possibilities, and thinking about all the dreams that are out there. Yeah.
Now, do you have to have a day job, or does your husband support you, or
Music is my day job.
it
I'm a
is your day?
piano. Yeah, I've been really fortunate. That previously mentioned classical pianist music study component is super has been super valuable in my life because I've been a long time piano teacher, music educator, and I've done different things like writing songs for you know. Jingles to for a better lack of a better term, more
Okay.
like a theme song. I've done this for like a friend of mine for her nonprofit. I wrote a little a theme song for them, and I've done a little bit of scoring, composing for some short films and stuff like that, and uh, you know freelance recording for other folks that need keyboard or that sort of thing. So I'm really fortunate that all of my I guess streams of income always come from music.
Well,
So
that's the best way
yeah,
to be. Total
yeah. I
immersion,
mean,
I would think.
I don't have any. Someone asked me that they were like, oh, so are you thinking about maybe would you ever go teach at ACC, like teach piano at ACC or something like that? Which I would definitely do, but then I had this moment I was like, oh, no, I'm not really interested in working for someone else because I've
Right.
been self-employed for so long. That being said, if ACC wants to give me a job, that's okay with me.
Right, exactly. Again, we have to be open to
Oh,
opportunity.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
so I teach piano, like all levels of piano. I'm going to be moving into offering some more like group experiences for maybe busy adults who want to be more creative and just trying to facilitate some creativity in people's lives. So yeah, I try to like creating music and also teaching other folks how to tap into their creativity. Those are really intertwined for me, and I'm fortunate to be able to make a living doing those things. So yeah.
That is great. I'm looking at is it a baby grand or a grand piano in the background?
I mean, I guess it's a grand. I don't really know the distinction between baby grand and grand. I think it's just how long the piano is.
It is
So
how long?
it's a 5'4" grand piano behind me. It's about the same height as I am. We're equal. It's just another extension. It's an illustration that is an extension of who I am. Yeah. So this is my space that I do
It's
all the things
nice. I
in
mean,
here.
okay, I have to ask, what kind of piano do you have?
It's a Boston piano, and Boston is a sort of branch of Steinway. So
Right.
it's not it's not 100% handcrafted the way like a high end Steinway would be, but it's got a lot of handcrafted elements. And I a long, long, long time ago, I taught piano at a music school in Austin, and the director there had bought a bunch of these pianos to have in the space, and the one that I taught on for several years, I loved it. And so a few years after that, when I was in the spot to be able to invest in a piano for myself like that, I was like, I want to buy one of those because it was just one of the favorite. It has a really nice tone. It has a nice dark, warm tone. Although it probably needs to be tuned at this point, but yeah, I think it's due. It's sort of like hair. Everybody's coming out of the pandemic needing haircuts. My
Right, right.
piano
Your
needs a
piano needs
my piano
tuning.
needs a tuning.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see. Oh, yes. Do you have any cautionary tales?
I mean,
You don't have to,
I
but if you have
you
anything,
know,
words of
not
wisdom.
like a cautionary as in like, well, watch out for this guy, not that sort of
Right.
thing. But I think, and it's something that I have not mastered and still struggle with. But being true to yourself, just being who you are, and not trying to make the art that you think other people want you to make, and not being so worried about how you come across to other people, as artists, and especially people, if we're out performing or we're trying to present ourselves in a public way, you can get really hung up on packaging yourself in a negative way. I think it's okay to have an idea of and to enjoy, you know, your the way you present yourself. To like, there's ways that you can enjoy that, but there's also ways to get really hung up on, am I doing it the right way? And is this how I should be, or is this how I should be? And I think that, you know, just trying to stay true to yourself and not get too bogged down in all the negative aspects of that. You know.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm still fighting that good fight. That's advice for me too.
Yeah, well, you know, we're not perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I see you've got a little do what you love little thing. And I know I've got lots of little things on my wall to keep me going in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think when you know, I think it's good to surround yourself with, you know, beautiful things and things that make you happy, and just kind of have your space that helps you to, a space that helps bring out good things in you, and not a space that's going to make you feel, you know.
Yeah. Totally on the same page.
Yeah.
I mean, I just have an upright, but you know.
I mean, I had a Kawai upright for many years, and I loved that piano, but I had to sell it in order to get the other piano.
Of course. I totally get that. So,
yeah.
Well, let's just give our listeners. You've got obviously Anna Larson Music on YouTube, and your website is
AnnaLarsonMusic.com.
Good for you. Good branding, and same with like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Same with I'm not real big on the Twitter. But Instagram, Anna Larson Music, and Facebook page as well. But I think the best place for people, I would really love for us to circumvent the algorithms. And if people want to head to my website and sign up for my email list,
right,
that's the way to make sure that if you're interested in what I'm doing, that you will get the right information, and that it won't be hidden from sight.
Right. Just to be clear, so Won't Let You Down is not actually on Cocoon.
No, it's a new single
separate
that's coming
out.
out.
It's a new single. Okay, cool. So we got
all of this music. Yeah, it's all on all the music you can find on my website. You can get connected there, Bandcamp and Spotify. And Won't Let You Down. The reason why I want to mention it today is because it's about to come out, and so on June 25th it'll be on all of the platforms, as well as Bandcamp, where people can purchase it.
Unfortunately, I run about 3 months behind, so this is going to come out a little bit later, but it'll still be out there.
It'll still be there. All the things will be there.
All the things will remain in all the right places. Well,
That's
Anna,
right.
this is really, really a lovely interview and inspirational. And is there any quick things you want to add? Or
No, I think that's it. I'm glad for the opportunity to be able to share what my various projects have been, and what I'm doing. I guess if I wanted to mention one thing that's going to be coming up even later on, since this will be coming out in about 3 months or so.
Probably that's the best estimate I have.
Yeah. In all these same places that we've just mentioned, especially Spotify and on my website, I actually have a group of instrumental piano pieces that I'm going to release. And so I'm hoping that, if people are interested in the fact that I'm, a singer-songwriter who the piano is my main driving force, even though Obviously. I have a lot of guitar and stuff there. I mean, I write on guitar also, but the piano is the big connector for all the things in my life. And so I'm going to be releasing a series of solo piano pieces too, that I hope people will check out and enjoy, and kind of expand the offerings of all of my vocal stuff too. So yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Anna Larson, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for coming on my podcast.
Thanks.
And
thanks.
Bye for now.
All right. Thank you.